Wanda, pack your bags. We're getting on the road, baby. That is what they call a problem. There we go. So this is taking about 10 hours longer than it should. You see me, it's like, there he is. I'm like Gilligan. I'm wearing the same outfit every week. Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel, and first and foremost, thank you so much for 555 subscribers. Woo! Yeah. I know that's not a lot in the world of YouTube, but it's a lot for me. I just started my channel this year, so this is amazing for me. I also unlocked a community tab. YouTube has a community tab. Does anybody even know what that is? I didn't, but my wife is a YouTube genius, and you should go check out her channel as well, Angela Mary Magic. She has been teaching me all about YouTube. So basically the community tab, as I understand it, is just a post that you can make on your channel, and the post that we made to start with is a poll, and hopefully you can help us decide where we're going to take Wanda, the 1961 Shasta, out on her very first camping trip in probably 30 years. The kids are going to be going back to school soon, so we're going to get one last hurrah, take her out camping. Please go ahead and join in the fun. Help us pick a spot. If you tuned into the last video, you saw that we went to a parts wonderland, a graveyard of trailers where there was just so much to look at and so much to see. If you haven't seen that, please go have a look at that, because it's just a lot of fun to dig around in these old trailers. So we came back with a lot of stuff that was needed, but we weren't able to find any actual cabinets that would work for it. So those might end up having to be built. Obviously, that's not going to happen on this trip, but we're going to go ahead and go camping anyway. So we've got the sofa bed that now works. We've got this area up front, perfect size for an air mattress. We've got a little barbecue that we can bring with us, and we're going for it. So Wanda, pack your bags. We're getting on the road, baby. We're going to need to fix a couple of things in this trailer before we do that. Is right here where the kitchen used to be. That is what they call a problem. It's got some water stains here, and it looks like they came from inside, so there was probably leaking around the sink, backsplash, whatever, something over time. And most likely what's happened is that the screws, nails that hold the wood on there have rusted through and it's broken out. At that point, also, the wood's probably rotted. So we're going to be digging into that today, finding out the extent of any wood that might need to be replaced, and get that shored up. The other thing, as long as we're moving and shaking, is the door. Now, the door, you can see, it's got some rot in the bottom, but it's just in bad shape. It's been braced up here with a piece of metal, and that is because it is just broken in the middle. It's very thin wood to begin with. Reframe that, and we're going to put new birch on it as well. So that's going to allow us to close the door, lock it from the inside. We don't have a key for the lock, and I don't think I'll be able to get to a locksmith in time, but it locks from the inside, and we've got the padlock on the outside. Not a big deal for right now. So big job for the wall, big job for the door. Gonna give this thing a cleaning. The wall, the door obviously are gonna need some wood, and then I'll take a trip to the Home Depot, and you might as well come along too. We've gone through this much together, right? We'll get some of the materials that we need, and we'll get this thing ready to go on her very first camping trip in 30 years. So enjoy the video. Let's have some fun. So the problem here is you can see that the nails that are in here have rusted off and broken, but it's just separated, and it's causing this whole wall in this just section to come off. Ideally, we want to replace this tiny strip of wood. Just get some screws in here, some nice screws into this heavy beam that's still good. So
For now, we'll take the metal off of the bottom and see if we can't expose this wood. May even need to get a jack on here just to get a little bit of a lift on it. It looks like it might have sagged, but not too much, so we'll get that done. Okay, so I did find a section of wood here that is bad. So you can see where there are screw heads in here, flat heads, and they have just rusted and broken off. So we're going to replace it with a new piece along this front end here.
We are heading off to the Home Depot because I am going to need to get this strip of wood for this side, and I'm probably going to get a couple of curtain rods too. This is missing a rod here. The brackets are still in place, so I'm going to take one of the rods and see if I can't match something up similar, which you can see here if anybody's familiar with these. That just sits right in there next to the oil can.
Here we are. We have arrived. All right, we're in the lumber aisle. So when you find something this small, it tends to be warped a lot. So we might have to dig through these to find a nice straight piece.
Inches. Don't forget that. Please. Try and lower the jack and see if everything stays where it's at. All right, so it's time to take on the door now, which means taking off the door now. So here we go. We're going to get into it, and it is time to face the dreaded flat blades. Right, so we are going to engage the flat blade. Now, some of you, one person in particular, took a little bit of umbrage to my disdain for the flat blade. And the way I explain it is I love flat blade screws for an aesthetic look on cabinet hinges, hardware, things like that. It does have that old look. When you get into going fast using a drill motor, it's easy for the bit to slip out, hurt yourself. So when I put the door back on, though, I will be substituting those. So there we have it, and here we go. So this has taken about 10 hours longer than it should. Some of these are pretty rusted, and as soon as it starts to spin, the rust just gives way, and it just starts slipping out of there. So I've actually brought in Old Faithful, which I actually found in the trailer here, and I'm undoing these by hand.
Y'all are in time for the big reveal. Ooh. Oof.
That looks pretty regular, yeah? This side does.
Yeah. Wood's pretty beat up.
Yeah, it's looking pretty bent.
I found out a long time ago that cutting 1/8" birch with a jigsaw, especially if you're going across the grains, can be a real problem. It can splinter like crazy unless you score it with a blade knife. I came to find out all you really need to do is use a utility knife, and this comes in real handy when cutting radius, like towards the back end of the front end of the trailer, where you have those steep curves. And you kind of break it like drywall. Okay, so we are on day 2 of this project. Yesterday we finished shoring up the wall on the kitchen side, as well as getting the door framed. Now it's just a matter of getting the birch on there that we cut, as well as putting the aluminum back on and getting the aluminum side trim on there. Now, we did go to the Home Depot to get some materials, and one of the things that I picked up that I didn't show on there is this. This is a small air compressor. It's going to be very helpful, not only for getting the birch and the metal back onto the door, but as we move into some of the wood replacement inside, it's really going to come in handy. It's a bit of a treat for myself. I did want to get this. I got it in orange because that is a little bit of a hint to what might be happening in the future of this channel. You see, I'm starting to come up with, I think, a logo for the channel. I'm always wearing a t-shirt and jeans out there. I was different kind of t-shirts, and I thought, well, why don't I make a t-shirt that's just mine, and it's in all my videos, and it's just kind of my brand. You see me, it's like, there he is. I'm like Gilligan. I'm wearing the same outfit every week. Here's what I've come up with so far. So let me know what you think of the idea. Give me a shout in the comments. Let me know if you like this idea, and also the color scheme. I'm really liking blues and oranges, and well, that's where the orange comes in with this, because it might be part of a brand. Let me know in the comments if you like the logo, if you think it's a good idea. Just something I'm kicking around, and we'll see what happens. That said, let's get into this thing, unbox this, and get to work.